Well, good God and good afternoon to everybody. And welcome to another exciting show of the Conspiracy Keepers. My name is Backlash LaRue. We're joined by our hosts, Jackie, Joe Monaco, and Scooter McGee. Good afternoon, gang. I hope you're enjoying the weather out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun stuff to talk about. I know the big thing, I'm sure we all talked about the slap heard across the world. And that was pretty much the only thing I know about the Oscars.
Oh, well, that's the only thing you need to know about it, because that's the only thing anybody's talking about, if you think about it.
But the direction, Joe, they're talking, I made a joke on another product and their show, but in literally a matter of a week's time, in this month, people went from being COVID experts and healthcare experts and biological experts to then weapons experts and international foreign affairs experts to now crisis management and anger management. And there is a world floating around on the internet. We're all worried about kids right now, what they're teaching, the trans stuff and all that stuff in schools. I am 54 years old. A word floated in the internet and the biosphere and whatever you call it regarding Will Smith and Jada and their relation. And I Googled it, and I'm a child of Leave It to Beaver and Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore. And I don't feel well. And this is the guy, by the way, who used to run adult nightclubs. So, I understand the world. I didn't, oh my God. So I literally need to boil my cell phone from what I saw.
Because they have an open marriage?
I just referenced all of the video that I consume. The last time there was a fight, Will Smith got sent to Bel Air. So, and I wasn't even a fan of the show. I didn't care. I didn't watch that. I watched MASH, Leave It to Beaver, I Love Lucy, Mary Tyler Moore. But now, crisis management and behavioral experts and academy experts, and you're right, Joe, they have something to talk about when there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the headlines that while they're misdirecting us over here, look at they're telling everybody over here so that they get away with it. They did transmit it. It wasn't hidden from you. It got published, but nobody's paying attention to it because they're all focusing on something else.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of their modus of operandi. But I think the interesting thing is about this, and Jack, you can start off if you want to on this. The thing that everybody's asking, right? The first headlines were, was it real or is it fake? Now it's a bigger deal than that, but that's what everybody's like kind of talking about. What do you guys think? What do you weigh in on that? Was it real or was this staged? What do you think?
Well, for sure, I think that it was staged. Bunch of actors being actors.
Yeah.
Trying to save the Oscars.
Yeah.
No, I could see that point, but now they're talking about removing him from, even getting his Oscar now. So that's
there's talk. There's going to be a lot of talk. Like the peace talks in Turkey, there'll be talk. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, well, here's what I think about this.
The usual bet, Randolph?
It's all a distraction. See how much time we're taking up on it?
It's all that stuff. I agree. I think it's a little bit of both. And without straddling the fence, let me kind of elaborate on that. We've seen this before. Do you remember in the movie Grease, when in the end, when John Travolta and they were seeing "You're the One That I Want"? That was the first time that he had seen her as an actor in all leather. They didn't let him see her before. He knew the scene was coming up, but they wanted a real response that would be hard even for an A-list actor to fake. So they wanted him to see her for the first time. So they just had that one take, and it worked for them to do that. So it was set up, but it was something one of them wasn't expecting. And we saw the same thing with Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler on David Letterman. Remember that when Jerry Lawler hit him, punched him? Now, Andy Kaufman called Jerry Lawler and says, "Hey, let's get on Letterman, and I want you to hit me." And Jerry Lawler says, "Yeah." But what he didn't expect was Lawler to hit him as hard as he could. Okay, so it was staged, but one of them wasn't expecting it. And we saw the same thing with John Stossel and the wrestler, Dr. D. Remember when Dr. D slapped John Stossel? Okay, well, Dr. D said that Vince McMahon told him, "Hey, I want you to slap the crap out of him." John Stossel didn't know about it, but he knew that there was going to be some kind of confrontation. So I think, and all these A-list actors have handlers. They have, people and their directors behind the scene. I think that that Will Smith was planned to go up there and do something. But I don't think that Chris Rock expected that, because remember when Will Smith came up there, he started to put his hands behind his back and stick his head out. I think he expected a fake slap, but they told Will Smith, go ahead and hit him. And let's get a little bit of realism here. So I think it was both. I think it was set up, but I don't think that Chris Rock actually expected him to hit him, because he looked a little bit surprised, like, whoa, Will Smith just slapped the crap out of me. He didn't expect that. So I think it was staged a little bit, and it was a little bit real, just to make it, add a little dimension to it. Thoughts?
Listen, if you got slapped by Will Smith in a real way and you were a foot shorter than him and 100 less pounds, you're not just going to stand there afterwards. Your neck, you're going to hold the side of your head. You're going to be back here.
True. I hear you.
Jesus Christ, did you just hit me, you mother?
Right. Yeah, maybe so. But I think he hit him with his fingers. It was a slap. It was kind of it was a bitch slap. So he didn't
like this. He slapped himself.
I know. Right. But here's what everybody's missing, I think. Go ahead. So what was the point to this? Why did they set this up? Because the people in Hollywood that run things, they are a little bit racist and they're a little bit stereotypical. They love their stereotypes because that's what makes, I know. That's what makes people come to the movies, the stereotypes.
You're missing this guy.
And what was the subliminal underlying stereotype here? Black men are violent and unpredictable. That's what was going on here, because they wanted to reinforce that stereotype. Everything Will Smith has done in his movie career is a stereotype. Everything. So they want to keep that stereotype going.
His head like crazy. Scooter?
They would not have John Travolta slap Jim Gaffigan. That wouldn't work. That's not the stereotype. And they wouldn't have Will Smith slap Jim Gaffigan, because that would be black on white. That would ruin his career. So they wouldn't do that. They needed two black men because they wanted to reinforce that stereotype of the violent black man. That was the subliminal thing that they wanted. And they got it.
Wow, I did not. That's one thing I have not heard yet, Joe.
I know.
Now hold on. I'm watching Scooter chomping at the bit on the screen. Scooter?
Go ahead, Scooter.
Hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, right.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. And okay. So Joe, see, and I love my brother. You are truly my brother from another mother. Not only when we're drunk puking off the deck of a bar, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
all right.
I got you.
Okay. Now, Joe, you're the one who brought up Grease, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, and The Leather. All right. And all I did was write this word down here, because back up here, on page 2 is John Travolta. We are going to start the Academy Awards ceremony with Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And they decide to, again, because of gender and sex and everything else, they do the gay bit. And the audience and the camera pans, and there's Denzel and John Travolta's just right there. John Travolta, go back now and look. You're going to see and no reaction from John Travolta. You bring it up, Joe. Which is true. They kept the two isolated so that they could get that chemistry on tape, because Hollywood even back then knew John Travolta is gay.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's true. There's truth to that. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you.
And so I am in full agreement. Now, again, you are correct. Even back then, that's the handlers and the people behind.
Right.
But the front man is John Travolta of the carved and chiseled and I'm giving you that, okay? Full credit. However, you want to talk about the coin and how sinister. You can't start the Academy Awards ceremony with the gay Huey, and I'm sorry, ladies, Huey, Louie, and Dewey. because I could say something else, but they're three very vulgar, offensive words that even women don't normally use. So the crowd reaction was telling. Now, in fairness, and the late great Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler and that series of incidents and the wrestling, because that's where Kaufman's original the neck brace came from, was when Jerry Lawler in a ring, because Andy says wrestling is fake, I can beat you, and they went, oh, we're gonna you up in the ring hard, and they did. Okay, absolutely true. And then the David Letterman, absolutely true. Now, however, you bring up, see, that's not the handlers. That was Andy and Jerry.
Right. Right.
Not the grease analogy. That was very deliberately controlled.
Mm.
The first headlines out of 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3/30/2022. The slap heard round the world. ABC News. The court of public opinion has spoken with the memes and the gifs. In the first 24 hours, NBC and ABC News. A corner of the internet that actually believes this staged. Media is asking why. Why would people believe this is staged? In that same 24-hour time
I
cycle,
see.
they were equating Will Smith's behavior to Donald Trump. Because of Donald Trump, this is why behavior is allowed. My Twitter feed, V. Scooter McGee, shows the CNN tweet. So, Joe, I love you again, but the argument of we need to continue the stereotype of black on black violence, well, maybe again, okay, I'm going to admit, I joke about that C word that's thrown around on the internet. I didn't even know what it was. Oh God, I need a shower. I need a really cold shower. The phone needs to be sterilized. We have completely perverted this society, arguing about gender and all of this other nonsense, when the biggest headline that nobody is talking about is that microplastics are now in the human blood supply, and the average American has approximately, and this is the biometric measurement, about a credit card's worth of plastic you consume on a weekly basis. Now, backlash, for the love of God, you better find that headline right now, because it's been out for 2 weeks.
Wow.
The study came out at St. Patrick's Day, that right before St. Patrick's Day, that microplastics had entered the blood supply. And it was what blood supply? Oh, it's in humans, because plastic is everywhere.
Yes,
But
it is.
They're using the measurement, Joe, of the credit card. We have about that much plastic. We consume that much plastic on a weekly basis. Backlash LaRue, ABC, NBC, or CNN have that story.
No, I'm looking it up, and that's what's really wild. The first thing, microplastics have been discovered in human blood for the first time in a new study of 22 people.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, why am I not surprised? I'm surprised they didn't just do 33. I mean, we're getting used to that number by now.
Oh,
keep going. They're ginning up fear, because right now we have to, again, what's the old playbook? Bird flu is working. Let's cull. Oh, that started the war last month. Wait a minute. We're not culling chickens. We're slaughtering them out of abundance of caution for bird flu. And then this slap around the world. And Jackie, I don't do that. How are you even allowed to say this word in mixed company about their little relationship bullshit? I'd rather be comfortable swearing at this point before using the language that CNN, ABC, NBC, and they're all talking about regarding their relationship.
Would you just say it?
Go for it.
Huh?
Go for it.
Spell it.
If they don't like it, YouTube will censor it, so it's okay. Go ahead and say it. The C word.
C-K, yeah.
What?
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't know this word existed. I swear to Christ, I didn't know this word existed until 36 hours ago. I swear to God. I swear to God.
It's an old English. It's an old English word. It was used a lot in kings and queens times when the husband was anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
How do we talk about this? They're talking about. I didn't realize, and then I just. Oh my God! I gotta leave. I gotta run. I want to hide. But this is all part of that. Absolutely turning us back into. Is it Philistines, Joe? And the and just the rape, robin, pillage, and then the orgies
the fabled uncircumcised Philistines. Don't want to be like them. Those are the people from across the tracks. Yeah.
Boy,
yeah,
you guys,
that's what that means.
This is freaking me out really bad.
You know what? Our shows tend to do that for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Now, Joe,
people say this freaks us out.
Now, Joe, you were in the studio at Alice 1059 when I was in the field that day, and I made the joke about genetic modified chickens and the teenagers. Do you remember that?
I vaguely do, but I do remember that. Yes.
You laughing? You were on air. This was when you were still doing Metro Traffic from in the studio.
Yeah.
Well, then it was Alice 106.
Right. It was. Yeah, I was 106 at the time. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Are you
sure? Because you were there. Because you were there at the same time I was, Jackie, weren't you?
Yeah.
And when it was 106, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did both 106 and 1059. Yeah. So okay, if I did that, I apologize. But I made the joke about because back then, remember, it was the pink slime was McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Right.
And it was McDonald's chicken nuggets was silly putty.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a conspiracy. It wasn't true. Yada yada yada. And I made a comment about when I was 14 versus the girls now when they're 14 on the 16th. That was because Tabor Center, and I'm at the Tabor Center, and the girls all have and they didn't have that when we were kids. And I made the joke about.
Okay. I know what you're saying. Okay, I do remember. I know what you're saying. I know where you're going with this now. Yeah, they're fed hormones. So they're fed
20
hormones.
Years ago.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I do remember that now. Okay.
And now it's there's microplastic in the blood supply. What the hell? Now I understand. Everything has been weaponized, the food and everything. And then back to the players, because Joe very specific about the Academy Awards and the handlers versus Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Mm-hmm.
You and I and Jackie and Backlash, we talked about for the Olympics and the invasion of Ukraine. Did Putin and Xi have a conversation? And it turned out they did. About the invasion in the Olympics and should we go?
Oh yeah, then of course they did.
They did.
This stuff is planned months, if not years in advance. That's why they want to make the tie between Putin and Trump way earlier. Because when Putin invaded the Ukraine, they wanted the Trump supporters to support Putin. They've got this all planned. These people are highly organized. They have these things planned years in advance, and we just kind of see it as it goes along.
Well, again, that's why I'm like, no, Joe, the black on black isn't working because they're wanting to associate white on Asian hate crime when it's black on Asian hate crime. So to further stereotype black on black, especially with the Jussie Smollett nonsense that just took place. My
point is they always want to reinforce. They want to reinforce the stereotypes. That's my point. They want the stereotypes to exist because that's where the movies make money.
The stereotype, you're right, is Trump and Putin because they wanted to associate Wilson and his violent behavior and out of control.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They were trying to equate it to Trump.
Yeah. And I even have this quote, this lady from Fox News. I think her name is Janine Pirro. Have you heard of her? She's nationally on Fox News. Okay. She was on Yahoo Today. She comes out and says she's talking about the Will Smith incident. She goes, the Oscars are not for the hood. Okay, there you go again. She's reinforcing that stereotype. They're all in on it. Maybe they're not in on it as far as they sat down in a corner someplace at a table, but they all know what they're supposed to say, and they all know what this meant.
And people are going, well, is this stage? he, as again, security was working behind the scenes discussing whether or not Mr. Smith should be allowed to leave. And
Plus, keep in mind that Chris Rock
he
and Will
gets up
Smith.
and gets the award. He gets up and gets the award for best actor.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Pretty good acting job right there. There you go.
And keep in mind that Will Smith and Chris Rock are friends. They've been friends for a long time. They
Well,
know
that's
each
what I
other very
mean.
well.
Yes.
His wife knows him. He knows if he would have said something that would be insulting to them because they know each other. This whole thing was planned. But my point was, the hit might have not been planned. The actual slap, that might have been by Will Smith handlers, just to make it give a little bit more, to make Chris Rock surprised. But he's in on the game. So, yeah, Jackie, I completely agree with you. It absolutely was staged. These are all actors. They're professional liars. That's what they do. That's what an actor is. They make you believe something that isn't real.
Yeah,
and
but
what
you
better
guys,
place to do it than at the Oscars?
I'm sorry, but this is one of those shows that is making me want to join Backlash under the desk.
We have one other problem. In that first 24 hours of the slap heard around the world, and the deliberate association of Will Smith and violence and Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in the conversation regarding how could a corner of the internet still believe this is fake, they actually brought up QAnon. So if you think the Academy Awards were faked or staged, you probably saw it on a QAnon website.
Wow, you guys, this is hardcore. So they're just doing a slam dunk on Trump and QAnon, right? Ahead of the election? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I guess. Why would CNN within the first 24 hours deliberately say, because of 4 years of President Trump, this is exactly, this is whoa, slow down. I don't know why people think this is staged. This is absolutely nonsense. We have seen brutality and violence right there on the stage. And I mean, are they getting it from a QAnon website?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, but the hood thing, the hood mentioned, Joe, that's a good pickup on your part. And because that's just, they're trying to separate us again, black, white.
Exactly.
Well, you can't, this is what happens when you put those fellows in on the stage. That is insane. Oh, this is bad.
I know. I know. I hear you.
I said this is a joke. The last time that the Oscars were funny or entertaining was when Triumph the insult dog was out on the red carpet barking at everybody. When you question this woke culture, if you go woke, you'll go broke.
Wow.
Look at how far down the ratings have dropped over the years in the Oscars.
Oh my goodness.
And yet just the overnights showed that 56% higher this year in the overnights for the Oscars. They got a 50% bump just for the slap, not for the gay opening. I'm quoting what Huey, Louie, and Dewey said.
No, I hear you.
I'm not making a judgment. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Go ahead, do what you want. But this prancing and dancing and shoving it in everybody's face will, now that the facts think that, wait a minute, there is something else running through our blood supply that is affecting our hormones and our genetics. And then they want, stand by. We are getting authorization for boosters for people over 50. And Dr. Fauci's back out on the trail. And Fauci says that boosters may be a thing of now, just like your normal flu shot.
I noticed that something has shifted because in the store, a lot more people are wearing the mask again. Some have taken it off, but still people are putting it back on again. So they must be watching what somebody's doing.
I haven't seen that in
the left media is going off on South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, because of Texas Governor Chris Abbott, a 47% jump in COVID after the South by Southwest concert. So in public, you're gonna have to wear a mask, and they're blaming. There's no mask mandates. There's no mandatory testing. They just reopened Texas. And we saw a 47% jump and a surge after South by Southwest. And spring break, we just need to be safe. We need to be careful. And Elon Musk then tweets that he has tested positive again for COVID for a second time, and he's fine. And he's Whether he's really got the shots or not, it doesn't matter anymore, because as we all, the four of us at least, tried to tell the world, this was never going away. We were never going back to normal. This is, as Adam Carolla says, this is crate training for an entire generation to do what you're told.
I'm stunned.
yeah.
I am absolutely stunned about the Oscar thing. I mean, how deep that goes. Wow.
I know. Yeah. That's perfect phrase. Yeah, how deep it goes. I think that's exactly it. I think people don't realize how deep the deception goes and the links that they would go to get there, and really how smart and clever these people are to get this stuff done without us being recognizing it only on a subliminal level, because this was on a subliminal level that they did this. You know, where people think, okay, there are those black guys again. They're unpredictable and violent.
Wow.
That's what subliminally came across with that.
And he did use street language,
Yes, that's right.
Once he sat down again.
That's right.
He didn't need to do that. He could have said.
That's not how he normally talks.
Yeah, very true.
He went full on street with that. Yeah, that was part of the plan.
Out
Absolutely
Joe Mouth. Out Joe Mouth. I mean,
that's right.
He could have said, don't insult my wife or you're going to
Exactly.
He did not say out your mouth.
Out your effing
my wife's name.
Out your mouth.
Out your
mouth.
Right.
Yeah, out your mouth.
Right. Yeah, they had to make him go really street on that.
They did, and I'm heartbroken. I don't know. I'm sorry. I am. I must have a really thick level of I don't know what to tell you, but it really shocks me sometimes. And here's why.
On the very superficial level, I am 100% team Will, and I will say this why. In the world that I come from and the way I was raised, you don't bring the wife and the kids into this. Ever. Ever. By the way, in the old days, you weren't taxed for committing a crime like that. You got clipped. You got whacked. You got killed. You don't bring the wife and kids into this. They're
in it already. No. They're in it already.
No. So I'm saying that's why on a very superficial level, in the way I was raised, again, it's contradictory to be raised.
They're in Hollywood, yeah.
And then go hide under Leave It to Beaver and Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke and Bob Newhart. However, you don't bring the wife and kids in. However, they're in. Yep. Okay, but the jokes and the roasting, because of the Greg Gutfeld, I got into a Twitter battle with him about this. This can't be. And I'm like, this is so much deeper. And it's for the jokes of a decade and the giggles and I had no idea this was going on. Everybody in Hollywood knew what was going on. And it's like when you have a mistress, I made the joke about if in Europe you have a leader and they have a mistress, it's acceptable in Europe. I didn't realize how sick and twisted down and just saying something superficial like that goes when it now pertains to Will Smith and the new word they're throwing on us while they have us ignoring they're reshaping a new world order. And we got plastic in our system and America's worried about how they're going to be able to pay for their hot dogs at the barbecue.
Sure.
The plastic hot dogs.
Right. Yeah, and just like we were talking about earlier, I mean, Hollywood is notorious for their stereotyping because when they reinforce those, that's how they make money. That's why those movies make money. That's why The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was so popular, because you had the stereotype, and then you had his uncle, who wasn't part of the stereotype. Now that's pretty weird. And then you had a lot of the black people they liked the Cosby Show because they said, well, this is one of the few black shows where they're not reinforcing stereotypes, which is true on one degree. But if you think about it, everybody in Hollywood knew what Bill Cosby was into for a long time with, drugging and raping these women. That's why they made him a gynecologist. That's why they made him a gynecologist. It's a joke to them. It's a joke to them.
Oh.
It's not, I mean, they could have made him any kind of doctor. It's like they knew what he was all about.
Well, wait a minute, Jackie.
Oh.
Do gynecologists deliver the babies, or those I thought were obstetricians?
Yeah, it's an obstetrician.
Okay, so actually, Joe, Dr. Cosby was an obstetrician because he delivered babies.
He was a gynecologist. He did deliver babies, but he was a gynecologist.
Well, we're gonna have to check the New York rules and regulations regarding doctors. Backlash.
They made more than one reference to it on the show. Whether he did both of them or not, the point is that was a direct reference to what they knew he was into all his life with these women.
Well, we have a female reference library here on the show. Jackie, does an obstetrician perform a gynecology exam, or is that a gyne? That's what a gyne.
Well, now in today's world,
But I'm gonna need another sheet. Sterilize the whole studio.
in old, back in the day, the family doctor delivered the baby.
No, I mean currently in the Cosby era Joe is talking about.
Well,
and your era.
This was 35 years ago the TV show was on, right? Or 30 years ago.
Yeah,
so my goodness. Things are fast.
So
okay, listen.
What did the doctors do at your age when you were then? Was it a gynecologist or was it the obstetrician? When you had female doctors do the female things for the female patients. If this is using Joe's argument, wait a minute, I thought he delivered babies.
Well,
but he was also
this is semantics at this point, because if they referenced his job in the show as a gynecologist, then that's on them.
No, he was an obstetrician, which I believe delivers.
Yeah.
They had referenced him in the show as one at least twice. I'm absolutely positive of that.
Listen, listen, stop. Both of these look between your legs.
Exactly.
Why are we splitting hairs?
That's the point. Okay, that's the point. He could have been anything. He could have been an eye, ear, nose, throat doctor. Okay,
they put you in the stirrups. I mean, the stirrups.
The point is that the people that handle him know what he's into. They know what a dirtbag is, and they actually put that part of the show in there as a joke to them because they think this stuff is funny.
And I get that. Okay. But I'm like, they did not put that on his door. I thought he delivered babies. Okay, so he did, but I can see the joke because I didn't watch that show.
Do you know where babies come from?
Yeah, I'm not. Goodbye. Good night, everybody. I gotta go.
I mean, for heaven's sake. Okay, this brings me to what I wanted to talk about, and this happened yesterday. And I hope Scooter comes back to the show. Because we were doing the leisure podcast last night, and Scooter Scooter did news on there, and he did a recorded thing because we still need to work out some other stuff.
I did see that.
But anyways, we were talking about after the show, we had Scooter back in the room, and we were talking about God, how did we get on that subject? I think we were talking about Will Smith, and things started to decline from there. And poor old Scott Leisure, I don't think he's as deep as we are. God love him. He still has some soul left. He still has some hope in his life. And sometimes I do too, but we were talking about the Las Vegas shooter.
Oh yeah, Joe, you got to brief Jackie on this. She went to a corner and cried afterwards.
I did. I was like, this sometimes.
Welcome to my life.
Exactly, Backlash. Sometimes I want to crawl under the desk and cry because, I mean, man's inhumanity to man. It's not bad enough just in the image of the public that this guy took guns into a hotel and shot a bunch of people, and we're tightly knit. We know some of the people that were there. All of us on here know people that were there without calling them out. It's their their story to tell. But then I find out that obviously Scooter had researched this for a show, and I'm sure you guys talked about this on this show. But it still hits me so hard that it's not just a weird man who has a problem and he's shooting people at a concert, but it's actually planned with multiple shooters.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I went straight. If I used substances, I would have used them, but I don't. You know what I mean? Because it is so shocking and so horrible and so planned.
Yeah. The
I just laughed at that, and I shouldn't, Jackie. And that's the response a lot of them want. When people actually wake up and see something like that, a lot of them will turn immediately to either a stimulant or a depressant and I'm going to have a good semi. And how much conditioning is that from all the 70s shows I watched? Dr. Hartley comes home, and God bless Suzanne Plachette. She's got a drink ready for him. As a drink, you have a drink when you come home. It's 5 o'clock. Even Maude They have the little bar in the living room. Everybody gathers around for a drink to take the edge off, to okay, calm down. All right, it'll be, so that's really preconditioned into us. What, again, the argument of a stimulant or a depressant of a drug or an alcohol or crack or coke or pot or whatever. Coke and a smoke could be the same thing because they are what they are. They're stimulants.
But honestly, I mean, I was just.
They want that. They want us to be that, to be dumbed up and doped up. And
how can you do that? How? I mean, I guess the whole point is to understand just how. I mean, you can't have a hill without a valley type of a philosophy.
Yeah.
You can't understand joy unless you've ever felt pain. I mean, right? We're here to learn these lessons as human beings, but it is really hard to learn that lesson, in my opinion.
It is.
To know
Jackie, and what you just said about that, understanding joy to understand pain, I bring up on my nightly podcast about understanding the Soviet mentality and understanding things like Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Do you think those that are behind this, as truly evil as they are, have they ever experienced joy?
Or love?
Truly,
no, they don't. They can't. And that's one reason they hate us, because we can, and they can't. No, the people at the creepy table are sociopaths and psychopaths. They don't have those kind of emotions. Death doesn't bother them.
Well, I heard one guy say, and he uses this, his name's Ralph Smart on YouTube. He's really good. He's a doctor. Anyway, he said the inorganic ones. He calls them the inorganic ones.
Yeah, that's a good term. I never heard that, but that fits.
I like it.
That absolutely fits. And they did that, with the mind control, the MK Ultra mind control. A lot of these people are under mind control because that's their best ploy. Is if they can program somebody's mind to where they have blank spots on alternate personalities, or they can commit these crimes and have no recollection of it. A lot of Hollywood.
What about the shooter? What about the shooter in Las Vegas?
A lot of
shooter.
Well, a lot of these so-called assassins are program multiples. A lot of them are, and because it goes all through the spectrum. A lot of Hollywood actors and actresses are. That's why they're so good at playing different parts, because they can call in their different alter personalities. And a lot of these people that are under program mind control also have photographic memories. That's one of the byproducts of mind control. So they memorize their scripts very easily, and they can call in different personalities. I mean, this is gold for them. A lot of A-list actors are those people, and that's how they got to those positions, because they have handlers that put them there. Will Smith? I don't know about him specifically, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Coming out of South Philly on the streets and the rap at the time.
How can he be in all those movies and be an A-lister without being part of it?
I don't think he can. That's why I agree with you. As a matter of fact, if you would ask me, my opinion would be that he would be. I'm just saying I haven't researched that specifically with him, but yeah, I would say that he would have to be.
Yeah, because he either wound up in the gangs, he wound up dead, or in the mafia, and that's not where he wound up. He wound up, you were selected, you were groomed.
Yeah,
you're
right.
with us.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's right.
Now, Joe, I will concede this. In years past, when we talked about the conspiracy keepers, no offense, Jackie, but that even that world, that small creepy table, the inorganic ones are predominantly male. They will bring women up only to a certain level, but not to their level. Equally with persons of color, they'll bring them up, but they won't bring them into the...
Yeah,
and
that's right.
See, Janet, I gotta go. I can't do this anymore.
It's true. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Scooter. That's exactly the way they think.
And that's not me being a racist. That's their own... That's again, if the words we're going to use are the creepy table and the inorganic ones, we'll go take a look at them.
The spider. I like to say the spider at the top.
The spider at the top.
Poor old, Will Smith. God, I love that guy. I love that actor, and it's so hard to think that he is part of this thing that was meant to deceive the entire world, because there's a billion people who watch the Oscars.
I know.
From John Wayne to Rock Hudson. How are you? I mean, come on. We've been lied to the whole time by Hollywood.
Wait a minute. I know about Rock Hudson. What about John Wayne?
Same.
No,
even,
sir.
do you remember that interview when Roseanne was
No.
talking about that? Roseanne was talking about her multiple personalities. That's common. Most of these people are. They've been through that near-death torture when they're little kids as being groomed. They can create amnesia walls in their brain, and they program them. And that's what she was referring to as that program. And they gave her multiple personalities. And most of them are in that ink.
You,
I know.
Scooter, for laughing at me.
Wow.
I'm embarrassed about the word that I now know that I can't get rid of. Jackie now can never watch The Shootist again the same way.
Guys.
I know. I know. And little Ronnie Howard. John, yes. Rock Hudson, John Wayne's. Not that they were together with each other, but it was what it was. And Hollywood had a chiseled image that he fit, and his private life did not. And Hollywood made it work.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie, come on over. I've got plenty of room here. That just,
And
It's just so awful and shocking.
Even the detective magazines and the dirt, Hollywood Confidential and all that, that was controlled opposition within Hollywood. And so much of Hollywood back then, of the original studios, the only one who didn't take mob money, Charlie Chaplin. And look what they did. And look what they did to Chaplin. Mafia money was all in the studios because of the Great Depression. During the Roaring 20s into the 30s, Hollywood government told Hollywood, you need to be turning out, again, Blondie and Dagwood during the Depression, but still getting a dishwasher and still living in a house when tens of millions of Americans lived in Hoovervilles. And the Hollywood machine, the popular, were the gangster movies and the Westerns. And
Shirley Temple, please.
Yes. Okay, but these, what could they turn out every Saturday in the theater?
Right, that's true.
So whether it was the Bowery Boys or the Little Rascals or Laurel and Hardy pulling the vaudevillian, but the Westerns were becoming the very popular turn and burn because we can make all of them out right over here in the lot and get them out. John Wayne, I forget his original name, started
Marion Morrison.
Yeah, but I think he had another name because he started as a stuntman.
I think I know. Yeah, I think I do remember something like that. Yeah.
And he was recognized for wow and there's a couple, we'll work with that. And they brought him in. I'm sorry, Jackie. Again,
I need my teddy bear. I really do.
yeah. Welcome to just another weekend. It's finally time that somebody else gets some willies.
No, it is sickening
It is.
I don't know why, because I drive by that place where the damn shooting was. I was on the air when Columbine happened, you guys. I
remember that. Jackie, you and I were both on the air at that time because I remember talking to you on the phone and we were talking about that. Yeah,
I pick up the phone. That. Hi, Alice. Jackie, students used to call me all the time for every reason. Where's my chewing gum? You know what I mean? And we're hiding. Yeah. There's a shooter in our school. I mean, I have trauma. Yeah. I was in England on the top of a mountain when 9/11 happened, I mean, I've told you about that before. I mean, I have event trauma.
Yeah. Right.
So these things are just, it's just.
Yeah, when I started my website back in 2007, I was kind of aware of a lot of this stuff before, but when I really started to become aware of it was when people started contacting me and I started getting in touch with people personally who know about this stuff firsthand. And I remember being really depressed. I mean, I went through like depression when I started my website, and there was times I had to take a break from it because it's more than sad, it's depressing, and it's spirit crushing to know that this is true and it goes on all the time. So I get what you're saying. I think it affects all of us the same way. It just crushes your spirit to know this is going on.
Well, I know that the food is poison, the air is poison, the water's poison,
Yeah.
Those things are, I don't know, but it is the institution.
Yes, right.
The institutions that maintain this stuff.
Yeah.
That puts us in peril as a society and as a species, human beings and all animals. I mean,
Mhm.
that part I get, but these specific things where, it's easy to say, well, they put the fluoride in the water because, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's everywhere. The fluoride, they put it in
Sure.
your toothpaste. They put it in the water at the dentist. They try to give you a
Right.
fluoride treatment. Don't
Yeah.
ever get that, by the way, at the
Exactly.
dentist.
I know. I turn them
And
down too. Absolutely.
I turn down the x-rays now too.
Mm.
You don't want
Oh,
that.
I didn't think of you. You're right. I didn't think of that. I should do that too. Yeah.
And the
you're
lady
right.
who's offering you that, she's not aware. She's just has a job.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They don't know. You're right.
And so, you can't be mad at the little people at the bottom
Right.
who are trying to enforce these things. Just like during COVID, they're told that we're supposed to have the injection, right?
No, you can't be mad at the little people. Really, you're gonna now say you can't be mad at the privates, the sergeants, the corporals.
No, not.
I'm just
We
saying
were specifically talking about a dentist that didn't know the difference between,
but the institutions. And I'm not saying we don't have personal responsibility.
No, I know
the German Luftwaffe was just an institution. The SS was just an institution, and the Gestapo was just an institution.
I see your
point.
point.
I hear you. No, I know what you're saying.
Three factions that they were equally just partially only doing their. We just put them on the trains.
No.
We just drove the trains.
I understand.
We lived in Austria and wound up becoming, head of the UN.
Yeah.
I know you're right, but I don't know why, but some certain things really are upsetting to me.
Right.
And when I try to tell people about, the things that are coming out of the sky and the water.
Oh, they don't see it. I know. It's amazing they can't see it.
Not to take the fluoride treatment.
I know.
Get yourself some protection from 5G.
Yeah.
Don't let your cell phone be on all the time in the daytime. People just think I'm bananas.
I know.
No, but Jackie, what is the metaphysical, the physical? If there is plastic now in our blood, with the chemicals that are in our blood, that the 5G that is I mean, what happens now? The fact that there's plastic in our blood, can that be weaponized? Can we use the microwave weapons and the energy beam weapons and melt the plastic in our vein or our artery, and that just makes us?
They don't need to do that because I don't think it's going to be an active substance. My personal understanding is that the use of plastics is to clog up the organs and to cause a mass culling of the population. Because if you think about it, think about your poor liver. Your liver gets pissed off if you drink alcohol.
Sure. I know.
And so you have inflammation in these organs.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when you throw a piece of, it's really glass. If you think about it, plastic, little pieces of plastic are like chewing glass.
And the headline is, it's not.
What about your lungs? What about
microplastics, not plastic, but the microplastics are in our blood.
Yes, meaning that the particles are very small.
And with all that cocktail that's already in you, what about the graphene oxide from the people that went and got the vaccinations? How is that going to react to all this stuff?
That's a three-dimensional product that will be the conduit for turning us all into robots. And
that's what they want. So, that AI, that's their goal. They would love to have that. This intermixing of humans and machines. This AI.
Yeah, supposedly in the future, you won't be able to deny medical coverage. I mean, the medical procedures that they want you to have.
I think, You're
doing this for your own good, whether you like it or not.
Well, if you want to have your bank account turned on.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the other
social score. You have to go to the doctor when we tell you to go.
Yep.
As Americans are seeing the recession, this is the other headline. Many Americans are suffering resignation regret during COVID their occupations and are wanting their jobs back or regretting leaving. They left because of the mandates, force this, do that. They're like, all right, I'm going to work to the last day and I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this. Well, because now they've lessened we need to, hey, can I come back to work? Yes, you can, for an 18% reduction in pay. And they're happy to come back to work. Talk about Stockholm syndrome.
You're right.
You made it.
Yeah.
And guess what? While you were gone, well, you have to now do X, Y, Z. You're still going to make this, but it's still 18% less because the rate of inflation now is no longer 7.8 or 7.9%. It's over 20%. And we're going to find that number. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to find that number out now in the next 36 hours. And it's not an April Fool's gag.
I already know that because of the price of things I buy every day, like hair products. You know, women know inflation before
Okay.
men do
Oh yeah,
because we
no
buy a
doubt.
lot of products.
Yeah.
And man, when your hairspray goes up 25%,
Wow.
25% for a can of hairspray. You're
Right.
kidding me right now.
Yeah. Well, that's all part of their plan. They want to crash the dollar.
Yeah.
They don't want us. They
Yes.
don't want paper money. You know, they want everything to be electronic so they can track everything.
And
So they
turn
want
it
to
on
get
and
rid
off.
of
So now,
cash.
Joe,
Yeah,
you bring
that's
that
right.
up.
That's right.
Again, I found it very odd that the media reports how much plastic is in the human body. They use the measurement, again, certified by the U.S. Bureau of Weights and Standards. A credit card's worth of plastic in your body?
Yeah.
Credit cards are evil. Money is evil. Let's go crypto. Let's go to a digital currency.
That's very
Let's
deep.
get-
Yep.
Let's
next
get
level.
the mark of the beast. Why would they deliberately on ABC News at 4 a.m. Eastern?
Very nice.
Yeah. Latest study shows microplastics in the blood supply. How much microplastics? The average American has about a credit card's worth of plastic every week in their blood.
Yep.
Why would you, again, certified by the U.S. Bureau of Weights and Measures and Standards, why would you use that biometric measurement? How about a dice? You know, the average dice in a Monopoly board, that's the amount of plastic. Why the thin piece of, oh, I understand what that is.
Well, yeah,
040, here's my code and here's my expiration date.
That's very deep. That's
yeah,
very deep,
yeah. Subliminal. It's once again, it's that subliminal implant that they're putting into your mind. Yeah, they nothing. They don't do anything by accident.
Did the article, Scooter, go on to say where the plastic comes from?
No, this is ABC News, the overnight, it is 6 a.m. Eastern, what people wake up to in New York and watch on their morning news to get ready so they're informed.
I understand that, but they don't say where the plastic comes from?
No, well, yes.
It's the food, air, and water?
Well, they show from the chicken, how it's packaged in all of our cans. Again, and I made the reference. So, Mike, your Coca-Cola can is lined with bisphenol A plastics. Even the can gets lined. So, it was because I did this, 15 years ago. Oh, you do beer can chicken. Are you out of your mind? You're putting the can that's got plastic in it and you're smoking it in your chicken. No. Scooter, you're nuts. They don't line the cans with plastic. Okay, I have to go now. They wouldn't believe me.
No. It's hard to get people to see it because their programming won't allow that. They've been programmed to think like they do. We're out of that programming. So, but it's it's hard for them to break their programming because they've been conditioned.
It's even hard for me.
It's hard for all of us because we're actually brought up in that system. So to break it is very difficult for everybody. But once you're out for good because you'll never go back. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
And that's why, and so Jackie, I said, this wasn't an article. This was the video version of the news. ABC News Morning for New York, which is the East Coast, so it's 4 a.m. Mountain Time. But I listened to so you got the screen and the images they want to scare you with. I'm listening to what they're saying. So I will write what the headline is. But when they say, the narrative, because again, we have the kids in the studio, rocking out to NSYNC. And then we go to the local affiliate who does the piece and that journalist. But again, the use of the measurement, how much plastic is in the human blood supply? Well, the human blood supply is you, not what's sitting at the Red Cross. And
that's
why
correct.
would you? Yeah. And again, they're synonymizing the blood supply. That sounds scary. Oh, it's over at the Red Cross. We're not knowing you. And how much is there? Oh, about a credit card's worth.
Yeah, right.
That's why I'm like, whoa, write that down. Why did you say that?
That is so effed up. I'm not kidding you.
It is.
Good grief.
How we have been manipulated and programmed and continue to be all our lives is just, and like you were saying earlier, Jack, it goes really deep. It runs deep as to what they're doing.
So by this time next week, hopefully I'm wrong, but it is quite possible if you believe that the Academy Awards incident was staged, you've been at a QAnon website.
Well, that's what those controlled opposition are for, like QAnon, Alex Jones, because they want everybody to think that that represents us, and they don't. So every time people like us tell the truth, they just put us in with those crazy people and say, well, that's who they are too. Because QAnon and Alex Jones were both created by Central Intelligence, and they were there for that purpose, to lump us in with them.
And now comes the next big distraction. And depending upon Joe, when you upload this, it is 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Earlier today in the House of Representatives, Matt Getz has submitted Hunter Biden's laptop's hard drive as evidence. So we will be interested to see where this goes.
So it goes to committee first, right?
Correct. It's now been submitted to the committee as evidence. So they can't say we haven't seen it, we don't know where it is. No, here it is, and now it's yours. But we have the Ketanji Brown Jackson confirmation coming up, and we can't cloud that. And Kamala Harris has been off the radar now for 10 days, and Joe just keeps stepping in it. So I expect to see her out and about on the campaign trail doing damage control for Uncle Joe this week.
I love that he said, I didn't say that we're going to take Putin out. I mean, everything he said, he was just retracted every single thing. The man has no brain left.
Oh, no.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
The brain he has some issues. He can remember Nelson Mandela and John Paul II and even Abraham Lincoln with his hairy legs. But he can't remember yesterday because of,
plastics in his bloodstream.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
from the great movie The Graduate. Plastics, my boy, plastics.
Plastics.
Joe, Jackie, and Backlash, you have to watch. Everyone's worried about presidential if they are cognitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the ability to figure it out? So I challenge Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, any of them. If you want to run for president, you have to be able to do this. Tap your head and rub your stomach. And you have to be able to complete a sentence without saying and other than for the purposes of demonstration.
I don't think they can. I mean, think most can.
Any of those people are so difficult for me to take serious. Even when Trump was the president, every time he would talk, I expected him to say, live from New York, it's Saturday night. I mean, that's what I would expect from him. It's hard for me to take any of those people serious because they're all controlled by the same people. They're just puppets on a string. They're speechwriters. They get out there for us to see on TV, but they don't have any power. They never did.
No, they never did they?
Right.
Well, I'll be interested if anybody else thinks my cognitive test should be at least scrutinized, studied, and offered up as, hey, on the next campaign trail, ask your candidate to do this. Because if they go, no, I'm not, he'll make a meme out of it. Okay, well, here's your meme.
Monkey test.
Take it all you want.
You are. You're our trained monkey.
We point out, Joe brings up the valid point, because they're puppets on a string and they can only do certain things. Okay, then prove to me you can do this. Do this in public. You're not doing something for me. Prove that you have independent thought and you're in control of your own faculties.
Oh, but they don't want that.
This is not moonshine, I promise.
That's right. They don't want them. At this point. They don't want them to have independent thought. That's the thing.
No.
They don't want they want puppets, not independent thinkers in that position. If you get an independent thinker, you're going to get taken out like Kennedy did.
Well, more good news. Any predictions for 4/1? Just April. I mean, again, one thing for April Fools and everything's funny and you can't trust the headlines, even the Babylon Bee. But could they be, is there anybody want to make like a there's no Deadpool on this. I'm just asking in the energy of the universe, is anything else we should cover? Because it'll be now April and Jackie is at the 10th or the 12th or the 15th. When the awakening
12th.
and conscious 12th and the consciousness awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So is there anything we should be on leery of or looking at for 4/1?
I don't have it. No.
I've got the 12th circle. Just
good.
To
Yeah.
see
It's the 12th that we're supposed to be
if I
breaking free of.
wake up.
It's like when Jupiter, I'll look it up again.
And what day is that? I know the 12th. What day is that?
Let me see.
I know people who can do that automatically in their head.
Oh, really?
I can't.
Wow.
can't.
I had,
I
I
can't do
had
that
to
either.
rehearse the whole tap and
Tuesday.
spin.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Then we are committing to that episode. Can we do that now, please?
For sure.
I've already got, yeah, I can either, I'm going to have to do it remotely. I've got a doctor's appointment at 3:00 on Tuesday the 12th.
Then Jackie can initiate the meeting, and Backlash, can you do it in his, you put the gown on, but have the opening this way so we just see your chest.
Yeah, that would be good.
Hey, when you go to the doctor, is he naked in the office too?
Just yours.
No, Jackie's going, no, I'm going to have to find another doctor.
Yes, you must.
Yeah.
Last
Might
time
be a
you
good
wanted to
idea.
meet for drinks at 6:30. I thought that was weird.
It's weird.
Oh my gosh.
This
Oh.
was
This is intense.
making me think about, I mean, I've also heard rumors about Tom Cruise at one point. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You've heard rumors?
Tom Cruise, yeah.
About him being
He was not-
or
He wasn't packing fudge in a fudge plant. That was just a cartoon.
that he's mind controlled.
Yeah, he's definitely mind
Both.
controlled. Yeah, you have to be at that
Scientology?
position. Yeah, you have to be part of it. Tom Hanks is not who he appears to be.
Oh, he's the opposite.
Yes,
Isn't
exactly.
Tom Cruise
Yes,
the Imperial
right.
Wizard of Scientology or something like that?
Well, Scientology is kind of that's their programming side. That's where they go get reprogrammed when their programming
Right,
starts to
but
break
isn't
down.
he one
yeah.
of the higher ups?
Yes,
Isn't
he
like
is.
one
yeah,
of the guys?
yeah. He and John Travolta both are higher up than that.
They're recruiters.
Yeah. Yes. Right. They're probably to the point to where they're handlers themselves now. Yeah,
All
they've
right.
probably been in it long enough to where they're handlers. Yeah,
That
it's
is just breaks your heart, doesn't it?
I
It breaks
know.
your heart.
I
when
know.
Travolta walks up and goes, "You're the one that I want," there's more meaning to it than,
Run. Mhm.
Yeah. Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, gang, I'm going to be,
Is that why he lost a son? He had to
in my,
sacrifice
yeah.
his
Yeah.
son?
Well, I think there's something to that with their ritual
Yeah.
sacrifices. I think you're absolutely right.
And again, Bill Cosby and having, his son
Yeah.
was, that
Exactly.
was very, very suspicious. Yeah,
Those
it's
are
just rolled
those
up
are
somebody's-
rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Bill Cosby?
And Bill Cosby's son Ennis was
Mhm.
reported that he was killed. I believe he was on the side of the
On
road.
the side of the
changing
highway,
a
on
tire.
the side of the 405. Yeah.
Changing
that
a
was a-
tire and
Yeah. That was a
that
ritual
story did
killing.
not add, that did not add up at all.
Right.
Like
And-
Michael Jordan's dad?
Michael Jordan's dad, and that's why the NBA kicked Michael Jordan out for a year. They said, "Get out of here for a
Yeah,
year.
that
Go play
was-
baseball
yeah,
because
okay.
we got to get the heat off of this."
That was not ritual killing. That was mob business.
That was a mob.
Yeah, I know that because it was
Okay.
gambling debts. Because Michael Jordan was that was a gambling debt hit. But what I'm saying is that's why the NBA kicked him out because they say,
Okay.
let's get this to cool off and then you can come back. Yeah, the NBA threw him
again,
out. Yeah.
Ennis Cosby's death, it was very suspicious at best, and it more looks like some type of ritual killing or
Yeah.
again,
I think so.
something like that. But when it comes to Michael Jordan's father,
Yeah, that was gambling.
that was gambling. That
Yeah.
was friends of ours. That was a hit. That was
Yeah, that
not.
was a hit. Absolutely.
I mean, other than that organization is by definition a secret society, so I will give it that. But it wasn't anything symbolic. It's up and pay up, and you don't, and we don't give who you are. You're dead.
Mhm.
And that message resonated around the world of holy, they just killed his father.
Yeah.
They are not hanging around.
But how does he face himself? Do you know what
That's
I mean? How,
see, I agree, and that's the exact same thing I was going to say because Michael Jordan didn't stop gambling even after that.
No.
It's like, I mean, what kind of person is Michael Jordan? I agree with you, Jackie. I don't get that at all. I couldn't live with myself if something like that happened. But Michael Jordan just went on with life.
and it's just such, oh my goodness sakes.
I know.
Anybody got any wagers on the Final Four? Joe, will we see a ceremonial lights out or anything?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise. I don't see anything per se with that yet. I don't think that's where they want to go with it yet.
Okay. Well, then, if we're done, we're done. I wanted to make sure we covered anything and everything, just with the numerology of the 4-1-2-2.
You've covered enough today. I don't feel good.
I know, me neither. Honestly, my stomach is just sick.
I know.
Yep,
And,
now
and
you know
Scooter laughs. He
why I
laughed
only
at me
do
last night. He's
once
like,
a week.
"Oh, Jackie, don't tell me you believe that stuff too." I was like, "Compassion for your friend, compassion." Oh man.
Say that again. I missed that.
Last night when you were going, "Oh, Jackie, you don't really come on, four shooters. You don't really believe that it was just the one shooter, the lone shooter."
Well, but you can't believe me. Did you go do any research?
I watched all your old videos.
Oh, and again, citing where the videos were coming from and the hotel security that suddenly goes away. But again, so my comment off camera or off mics and recording with Scott Leisure and Jackie Selby was that, a drive by. Yeah, well, it's Mandalay Bay. It's the casinos. By the way, the casinos are some of the most secure buildings in the world with all of their, you can't bring in and you can't take out anything that they can't see because of their resolution on their cameras. They claim, Vegas casinos claim they're more secure than the Pentagon, and the Pentagon claims it's the most secure government building in the world. Well, this is private. This is the casino. So there's a lot that we were never told that was concealed and covered up by the casinos. Period. Now, I'm not saying the FBI. I'm not saying the Clark County Sheriff. I'm not saying the Las Vegas Police Department. Wait a minute. You record everything everywhere. Where's all of it? Well, we have this, and you can have this, and you can have this. But the rest you're never going to see. Good luck. Go to court. Go screw yourself. You're never going to get it. And Joe, you know that just in how corporations work out of Nevada for that very specific reason.
Yeah, that's right. You can stay hidden out there. You don't have, they don't income tax. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, sure. They're happy to comply.
But Joe will admit that legislation in that particular state was not for the benefit of the civilians. It was because of our friends back east, because this was their new laundromat and that needed to be protected. Whether you were a Jersey resident, New York resident, Florida resident, didn't matter. You incorporate out of Nevada, and that will, and then like Switzerland, we will give you that shielding as long as the money keeps rolling in.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Yeah, that for Vegas, for Nevada. I'm not talking about other states. I'm talking about this
for Nevada.
particular.
And if you have a corporation, and I do this myself, you can hire a resident agent in Nevada, and you pay them $200 a year, and you can have that as your place of business, and you don't even have to live there. You can just hire a resident agent. So there's a lot of legal loopholes out there. Yeah.
Yes, but the legal loopholes were installed for,
Right. Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I don't want to name names. I really want to get through today and wake up tomorrow.
You and me both. I don't know if my higher self is going to allow it. I might have to vomit or something.
I hear you.
Wow.
I hear you.
Joe, okay, everybody. Jackie, do we have any updates on you? Where can they find you yet?
Nowhere. I'm under the desk.
Yeah. Whoa.
We're working on JackieSelby.com will be up and running pretty soon. That's exciting.
Okay. All right, Joe, where can they find you and us?
And of course, you can find us on the conspiracykeepers.com where all our shows are. You can get it on YouTube, but go ahead and go to our website because that's where we want to kind of keep things. And my website, which is theconspiracyzone.net, and I've got a link to all those as well, and lots of interesting articles from people that have firsthand knowledge. So yeah, you'll find it interesting, I think.
Very good. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe, when Backlash sends you this episode, since you're going to be in the website, can you add my night show, the Scooter McGee YouTube page over there?
I should be able to, yeah.
I'm doing the nightly show every night at 11 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 a.m. Eastern,
okay.
9 a.m. Moscow, and 3 p.m. Tokyo.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll add it up.
Growing audience now. You got an audience now out of Osaka, Japan. There's a military base there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the #1 podcast on the internet nobody knows about, and even
Yeah.
fewer people watch.
Okay. All right. We'll get it linked up there.
Taking Lithuania by storm.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Love you, Backlash. Are you okay?
Love you guys too. Yep. I'm just
What did you break?
I'm
Was
just
that your bottle of moonshine?
no, that wasn't me, thankfully. I don't know what it was.
Okay, Jackie's chugging her moonshine. Who broke
Yep.
glass?
I'm gonna get on it here pretty shortly, I'll tell you that.
All right.
Thank you guys again for a
Okay,
great
guys.
episode. Now everybody that's watching will be doubting every actor that they talk to.
I know. Right.
But
I know.
hopefully we'll be back next week with another episode. And
Yes.
see what happens between now and then.
Okay.
Cal, have a great afternoon.
You too.
Sounds good, guys.
Be very leery of the headlines you're seeing.
Mhm.
Do your own research.
Yep.